From planning homeschool to getting our home ready for guests, organizing, decorating, rearranging, and cooking from scratch, our home has been very busy this summer. Welcome to our farm and our farmhouse. My name is Kelsey, and today we are talking about being an organized homemaker. And before we begin, I just want to say I am not the most organized person. I do not have all the tips and tricks and have my house in this clean, nice, orderly fashion, but I do want to share some encouragement with you if you are like me and are wanting to have a more organized household. The most important thing to have organized is your time with God, your time reading the Bible, doing a devotion, in prayer, whatever that might look like for you. Out of all of the areas in your life, making sure that you prioritize your time with God is going to be the best way that you have everything else in your life organized. About a year ago, I created the Homemaker's Helping Hand Planner. It is a free download that has many planner pages. How it works is you just print whatever pages you want. So there's a calendar, weekly and daily planning pages. There are multiple different templates. There's a meal planning page, cleaning checklists, all sorts of different pages to check out. I also added some new pages. So if you have already downloaded it and are part of my email subscription list, you would have gotten an email with an updated version. If not, I have the link for it down below. Currently, I am filling out a few of my new pages. I showed you my schedule where I mark every day what I am doing. Again, your schedule won't look like mine, but I'm really trying to stick to a more strict and rigorous schedule. The other page that I am using is a new grid planning page. I customized this to have all of the subjects for my kids for homeschool, but the actual planning page is blank, so you can customize it to whatever you are wanting. Even if you are not a planner person, even if you are not a schedule person, having a routine, not even a strict routine, just a generalized weekly routine will help you be a better and more organized homemaker. I'm currently grinding wheat berries to make some whole wheat pancakes. I will leave the pancake recipe down below. My parents came up for a week-long vacation and they actually brought me another 5-gallon bucket of wheat berries from my dad's field. So I am very blessed and thankful to have wheat berries. I've shared this in a previous video, but my husband and I aren't the biggest fans of whole wheat. I know it's healthier. We just aren't. And so I like to mix whole wheat flour with all-purpose flour. Mixing the flours gives you a good benefit of the heart-healthy components of whole wheat along with the rising capabilities of all-purpose flour. This brings us back to being an organized homemaker and meal planning and knowing what meals you are going to be making for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, especially for dinner, is a huge and maybe one of the most important ways a homemaker can be organized. How I meal plan personally is throughout the week, if we run out of something, so say baking powder, toilet paper, whatever it is, I will add it to the cart. And then on Sunday, I will meal plan for the whole entire week. What I tend to do is meal plan specifically for supper or dinner, whatever you call it. And then breakfast and lunch, I can kind of wing it with ingredients that I already have. But when I do not do this, when I do not meal plan, I just kind of say to myself, all right, well, I'll figure it out when that day comes. I am so disorganized and making food becomes so much more stressful and I dislike it a lot more because either I don't have all the ingredients I need, meat isn't thawed, or I'm just not prepared mentally or time-wise. I will think of a meal a little bit too late, one that would have to be in the oven for an hour, or one in which ingredients beforehand would need to be prepped, like homemade noodles. And so if I can just meal plan, everything goes smoother. I can actually enjoy cooking. I don't have to worry about it. It's not something that lingers over me. And if I really search the deep-rooted issue of why I didn't meal plan, it really just comes down to effort. I didn't want to put the effort in at that point in time, and so I didn't, and then I suffered for it later on. I like to look at cookbooks for ideas. I try not to go back to the same meals that I made the week before, but sometimes it just happens. Sometimes the easy meals are just easy, and that's just what we have to do. I also have a free 4-week meal plan. If you haven't downloaded that, I will leave that down below as well. If you do online shopping or pickup orders and you have the apps, if you look at what's on sale and you plan meals around that, that is a great way to save some money. I know I have shared this in previous videos, but I always have some sort of meat thawed in the fridge. So for example, if I use 2 pounds of thawed ground beef, I take it from the fridge, I will replace it with 2 pounds of frozen ground beef. So always try to have frozen meat on hand as well as thawed meat in the fridge. And if you always keep meat rotating, whether it's ground sausage, bacon, kielbasa, chicken, ground beef, roast, steaks, no matter what it is, if you can always have some sort of thawed meat ready to go, whether that be in the morning to go in the crock pot or the oven, or able to quickly use it at night, you will always be able to figure out a meal to make. Another way to be more organized is to simplify your home. And this doesn't mean that you have to be a minimalist. This just means you need to be an essentialist. In other words, keep the things that you use. Keep anything and everything that is essential to making your household work, whether you use it or a family member. Then don't feel like you need to get rid of it. Your household doesn't have to have just a few things in it for you to be organized. You can have many things as long as you are realistic with yourself that you actually use it. I highly recommend, even weekly, just going through one small space in your house, whether it would be a drawer, a closet, a basket, a tote, whatever it is, go through one small area. If you could even do that every day, if you could put 5 to 10 minutes in a small area every single day, you could slowly work at getting your whole home organized. When you try and do a giant project or a giant room, it gets very overwhelming and you're going to easily get discouraged, want to give up, not know what to do with all of this stuff, whether you use it or not. And so I recommend start small, really think about, do I need this? Do I use this? Does someone in my family use it? If not, send it to a new home. Donate it because somebody else will. As you can see, my living room is a mess. And this day that I was trying to clean, every room was a mess. Every room just looked like a disaster. I felt so overwhelmed, but I told myself, I'm going to create one beautiful space. Just one area where I feel like there isn't a mess, where I can feel like everything is clean and tidy and just have peace when I go into this room. And so I decided to, instead of tidying up multiple rooms, deep cleaning one room. Something I find myself doing very often is feeling overwhelmed with so much clutter, so many kids' toys, so many books everywhere, so much trash, rocks on the floor, whatever seems to find its way on the floor and in drawers and on my countertop. And I get overwhelmed and I want to give up. But what I have been trying to do is just cleaning one space, making sure that the entire space is 100% clean and organized, and just create one area in my home that is just, to my standards, quote unquote, perfectly clean, and then try to keep that space maintained. So throughout the rest of the week, the month, as I see things gather in that area specifically, I bring it back to square one, making sure it is back to how I left it. And then later on in the week, I will find another room to go into, deep clean it, or at least deeply tidy it, and then again, try to maintain that room. So I tend to try to maintain my kitchen first, and then my living room and dining room. So if I get one to square one, I try and maintain that while then deep cleaning another room another day, and then maintaining both of those rooms, and slowly just keep adding. And it does help. If you can get your house or any room to square one and then just maintain, it makes the world of a difference. Something to really keep in mind and be aware of or acknowledge are all of those little moments, all of those temptations to just not put things away or not complete things. So for example, if you are folding clothes on the couch and you leave them there and you think, oh, I'll do that after I do X, Y, and Z, or oh, I'll get those right before bed. No. Just take the time, put them away, be done with it. I tend to do this a lot. So for example, if I had just washed dishes and I find another plate, I tend to think to myself, oh, I'll just wait until I have another bigger pile and then do the dishes then. But if I would just finish the job, if I would just complete it and wash the one dish, I would prevent having a giant pileup, or at least I would have less of a pileup later on, and then it won't take as long, or at least won't feel like such a heavy load that needs to get done. The last thing that I have been trying to do is really pencil in each chore that I have for the day. The last thing that I have been really trying hard to do is in my strict scheduling, I try to pencil in all of the chores that I have for the week into specific days and time slots. And of course, you don't have to be this strict or rigorous, but I have found that it has created such peace in my mind, and it's made me realize how much I think about during these little moments that I have some time to get something done, how much I sit there and contemplate, should I do this or this? What is the most efficient or effective? But when I have all of the things that I need to get done penciled in, I just have this freedom where I don't have to worry about it, I don't have to think about it, and I can just enjoy what I am doing in that moment. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kelsey, and I just pray that God would help us to be better and more organized homemakers and servants of Him in our family.